everyone. If we could grab everyone's attention, we'll get started here. I think this actually may be one of the largest ribbon cuttings or dedications we've had in a long, long time. Isn't that right? And I will share with you that more than one person has come up to me today and said, you know what? It's a great day to be a dragon. Indeed it is. So welcome, everyone. My name's Mitch Blondie, and I have the pleasure of serving as MC this afternoon. And as we get rolling here, traditionally we like to recognize the friends and family of the institution, the dignitaries of the community that come out and do so much, not only for this institution, but for Tiffin and Seneca County as well. And so I'd like to welcome a really important, actually one of the most important groups here at the institution, and that is the members of our Board of Trustees who are present. And so we have Dr. Claire Johansson here. Claire? Of course, we have Larry Adelsperger. We have Lenny Klaus here, and Lenny was actually responsible for the expansion, the building aspect of this project. So, Lenny, good to see you. I know I saw Trustee Bill Hertzer back there. Bill, welcome. And Dan Reinecke. Dan, where are you at? My apologies if I've missed anyone else. It's like being on stage up here with the sun beating down. I know you're out there, and I see shadows, but no one specifically. And then I saw that we have one trustee emeritus here, and that person is Fred Zoller. Fred, always good to have you here. We do have a number of elected officials with us. We have Commissioner Holly Stacy. Here we are. Welcome. Judge Steve Schuff. Judge, where are you at? Welcome. We have State Representative Bill Reinecke with us. Bill, where are you at? Always good to have you here. And I saw Congressman Jim Jordan roll up as well. He's over here to speak in just a few moments. A few folks that really make our community go round. Jody Reinbolt from the Community Foundation. Jody, where are you at? Welcome. Nice to have you here. And then we have John Detweiler from the Chamber of Commerce. John? We do have a group of folks here that are unique to this week and to this event. And so we, as part of Elite Sport and Culture Week, we have a number of Olympians with us. So all the Olympians and Paralympians, would you please wave? I know there's a few of you. Welcome. We're glad that you're here in Tiffin, Ohio. And then, this is really unique. So most of us probably don't know this. I did not. But we have individuals here from Flow. And as it was described to me, it's the ESPN of wrestling. They're here to cover this event. They're here to cover Tiffin University and our wrestling program. They're here to cover our new, renovated, and expanded building. And as they've been described to me as Flow is the ESPN of wrestling worldwide. They have over 40 million subscribers. And so for the folks from Flow, thank you for being here. It's wonderful. So, this day, this event, really is spectacular. And so, all right, so I have to say something, because this train's going to roll through. And hopefully this will be the only one during our time together. So, I've been waiting for the most appropriate time to say this. So, I've been with the university for about 15 months, okay? I hail from a very small town in the thumb of Michigan. And one of the local watering holes was the Eagles Club. Well, don't you know it? It was right next to a railroad track. And every time the train went by, drinks were half off. So, anyways, we do have a bar here, but they're free today. So, anyways, as the train passes, I thought that might be a good time to share that story. So this really is an event in a series of really wonderful events for the institution, right? Lil's going to get up here shortly after Claire and make a few remarks. But as I was visiting with Claire, we talked about this project and how step by step and bit by bit, right, we're making progress and we're moving Tiffin University forward. And so it struck me about that continuity of mission. So we engage with alumni and friends all across the country, and when folks come to campus, actually we had an alum from the class of 1957 on campus today. Saw his picture on the class composite over in Friedley Hall, and the theme is, boy, campus has really changed, but I have to tell you, the heart of the institution is still the same. And so that takes the leadership and the effort by so many people, but I have to tell you, one significant person has been Dr. Claire Johansson, because she's been involved with TU for many, many years, and really on the board for a long time, and has provided stability and leadership. And so, Claire, thank you for all of that, and with that, I'd ask you to come up and say a few words. Our board chair, Claire Johansson.
Well, thank you, Mitch, and welcome everybody. On behalf of my colleagues on the Board of Trustees, we are just so excited to be able to honor Larry and Jeannie Adelsperger today. What a great way to honor them and their service, not only to this university, but to the community. They give of their time and their treasure and their talent all the time, and truly care from the bottom of their hearts about what goes on here. Tiffin University, for those of you who've grown up in this area, remember this community, and it has been our mission to maintain the community with all of the great memories that people have. And I think over the years, as Mitch said, bit by bit, we've been able to take different parts of the community and try to make them better. Those of you that remember where the Heminger Center used to be, and this particular area can't recognize it anymore. To go from a scrapyard and to go from a bus garage to now this wonderful athletic complex is just truly amazing. But it wouldn't happen if we didn't have people like you helping us, and the vision and the interest in everybody. Really, really giving back to our students and to our staff and to our faculty. We as Board of Trustees thank you so much for that, and particularly thank Larry and Jeannie for all the efforts that they make and everything they do. Great things are in the future for Tiffin, and we will continue to strive to maintain a wonderful family atmosphere, as well as have things be the very best they can be with maintaining some of the resources that are already existing in this community. So with that, I will turn it over to Mitch.
Thanks, Claire. I think you referenced the Heminger Center and that being a scrapyard, but before it was a scrapyard, I understand livestock was held over there, and Larry actually told me a story about when he was a boy. He used to jump the fence and ride the pigs right over there. True story. So, well, I have to tell you, the last couple of years have really been exciting for TU. I mean, this is one of, like I said, a number of really exciting projects. And Lil will talk about this, but it's been one thing after another, and I think that is going to be the theme of her presidency. Moving forward, it's true. I mean, talk to anyone, right? It's us moving forward on our mission, helping our students in very powerful and impactful ways. And so, Lil, please, would you join us and say a few words? The sixth president of Tiffin University, Lily Chu.
Thank you, Mitch. No pressure there. Good afternoon, everyone. What a wonderful turnout. Thank you all so much for coming, not only to our community members and our community leaders, but to our students that are here to celebrate with us and our faculty and staff that are here. Thank you so much for being part of this very special day. You know, when I hear people say they come back to campus and our campus has grown so much and we have so many more buildings and so many more programs and it just is so different than when they were here, but that feeling is still the same, that to me is such an important statement. Because that is really what Tiffin University is and has always been. And no matter how much we grow, no matter how many buildings we continue to build, we always want that same feel at Tiffin University because it's who we are. You come on our campus, you interact with our people, and there's a feel at Tiffin University that is unlike any other place. And that feel is one of warmth, it is one of dedication, and it is one that I always call our place. It is truly, genuinely, authentically our place. People here care like I've never experienced before. Who we're honoring today is a phenomenal example of that. And before I get into just a little bit about Larry and Jeannie, I want to talk a little bit about three individuals that, with a lot of help, but because of their leadership, really made today happen. It's not often that a president has somebody that comes to her and says, hey, we'd like to raise some money for you. I mean, Mitch says that to me all the time because that's his job. And so his staff, but not necessarily friends of the institution that feel so strongly about a purpose and a cause that they decide that they're going to take it upon themselves to raise money for a very special couple in our community. And so those three individuals are Mike Herbert, who is here. Mike, I want you to stand up, please. I know you're going to speak for an hour and a half in a little while, but if you would just stand up. Fred Zoller, who's standing up already here to my left or straight in front of me. And Mark Simoti. All right, he's back there. These three gentlemen, thank you so very much, really helped make today happen. And they help make today happen for the very special friend of theirs. They also help make today happen for our institution. And they believe in our wrestling program. And they believe in our wrestling coach. And Joey, and now Brittany, with the support of Lonnie, have really made today happen. It's not often that you hear that an institution starts a women's wrestling program. But we are known to do things like that. And I will tell you that it is because of the leadership and the vision of Lonnie Allen, our Director of Athletics, and Joey and their teams that really made today happen. And it is because of the three individuals that I mentioned, Mike, Fred, Mark, and many of you that have allowed us to dedicate this building and this expansion to Larry and Jeannie Adelsperger. I can think of no other deserving couple and no other deserving individual. Larry is quite an inspiration for those of you that know him, and I think that's one of the reasons we have the best crowd here that we've had at a ribbon cutting at Tiffin University. And he's this individual that just does it so genuinely and without ever wanting recognition for it. He cares about this community, he cares about our institution, and as far as I'm concerned, we're never going to let him go as a Board of Trustee member at this institution. In all seriousness, his dedication to this community and to this institution and to his family is so very admirable that I can think of no special individual or family to celebrate today than to Larry and Jeannie Adelsperger. So thank you so much for being who you are. We are going to celebrate today. Everything we do on our campus is for our students. Every building that we will look at ever building is to transform our students' lives through education because you, ladies and gentlemen, are the reason that we're here. And we want your experience to be the best it can be in the classroom and throughout campus. And this is just one example that really, really highlights that for us. So thank you to everyone that's been here today. Let's celebrate and enjoy the afternoon. I am grateful for this beautiful weather and for everybody that's here. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lil. I echo your comments. You know, we've we focus on a lot of buildings, right? We have, and rest assured we'll be coming to you in the near future and asking for your support again for something else. But they're not monuments, right? They're vessels to live out our mission in. And so we can attract and retain and then impact lives. So thank you, Lil. They're special things. Next on our agenda is our athletic director, Lonnie Allen, and Lil mentioned his leadership in this. And I have to tell you that we now have 26 different athletic offerings at Tiffin University. And so when you think about someone who's responsible for that, on their own, coming forward and saying, hey, I have an idea. I know it's going to be more work, but I think it's going to be good for Tiffin University and our students. That's Lonnie. He rolls up his sleeves, he puts his nose down to the grindstone, and he gets to work. And so Lonnie, would you please come up and say a few words? Everyone, our AD.
You notice he didn't say anything about me being smart. So, no, but, everybody asks me all the time, what's your role? Athletic director, my role is to provide resources for our coaches to go out and recruit these tremendous student athletes that we have. And, we started wrestling in 2009. We started wrestling and women's lacrosse. And we had a game plan with women's lacrosse, what we were going to do. We're going to practice out at Paradiso Athletic Complex, play our games at the stadium, which we share with Tiffin City Schools. And it worked out. And we hired Doug Jesse to be our first wrestling coach. First year we did club, second year we did varsity. And then Doug left, and so we did a national search. And we started interviewing all these coaches, and I find the coach. And we bring in Joey, and he goes, well, what resources do I have? And I said, hey, I got a great idea. Our track team right now, we practice at the old Big Lots, okay? And there's a room in the back, and we've got enough mats that we've borrowed from different areas that we're going to put you back there. And he goes, all right, so what's the vision? I said, well, the vision is to build you a building, okay? And that's what we're going to do, but I need you to come in and build our program. And he did. Came in, recruited a lot of our wrestlers, and we were at the Big Lots, and it was right next to the old, help me out.
Panda, not Panda,
Pudding cake.
the Chinese restaurant.
Happy
Happy Garden.
Yeah.
Happy Garden. So we have these wrestlers that are worried about cutting weight, and every day they come in to wrestle, they're smelling Happy Garden. Okay? So Joey and I we would sit around, what's the game plan? What's the game plan? And we came up with this. And Joey basically built this building, okay? With the help of Black Kid at that time. They came in, they knocked this thing out of the park. I'm going to talk over the train, okay? They knocked this thing out of the park. We had an amazing building. And because Joey reached out into this community and did such a great job with our Biddy program and become so instilled in Tiffin, Ohio, this is the reason that he was able to do this. And this is all because of him. This is all because of him. He did such an amazing job with the help of everybody else in the community backing him. And believe me and Joey have some real men talks at times. But I tell you, I really appreciate everything that he's done. We built the Heminger, okay? And we won national championships. No pressure.
Thank you to the brilliant Lonnie Allen. So, we talk about championships, but we have our first, is that right, national champion that's wrestled for the program? Yeah. So for a young program, boy, we're off to a wonderful start. So, we mentioned it, we talked about it, we'll continue to talk about it, but today is about a number of things. Obviously, Larry and Jeannie, but it's also about today and the lives it will impact tomorrow. And so I'm always excited when one of our own students can get up and tell you a little bit about themselves or the program or their experience. And so we have with us McKenna Calhoun that has prepared a speech and is going to come up right now and share that with us. McKenna, welcome.
Hello all, thanks for coming out to the Adelsperger Wrestling Room dedication. I'm McKenna Calhoun, one of the first girls assigned here to wrestle at Tiffin, the first women's collegiate program in Ohio. Before college, some of my wrestling accomplishments were winning 4 girls state titles, being a 2-time All-American, and winning a national title. Before getting to college, I was so scared. I'd be leaving all the things I considered normal, my family and my friends. But as soon as I arrived here, it was a warm welcome from all the coaches and the men's team. From the first day forward, I felt at home. Coach Simcoe and Coach Gadd are the 2 people I consider to be my parent figures down here. Yes, they are my coaches, but I know I can go to them for anything at any time, and they'll do everything in their power to help me. When I first got recruited by Coach Simcoe, I wasn't the wrestler he had heard and watched me be in years before, but that didn't stop him from believing in me. Instead, he pounded into my head that I was a bad unit and a beast. And soon enough, I started to believe all of the words of encouragement he gave me. Sure enough, when I started to believe in myself is when the real McKenna started wrestling out on the mat. That's just after coaching me for a couple months. I'm excited to see what my future and my whole career has with him coaching me. This is one of the reasons I'll forever be thankful to Coach Simcoe. I can't thank him enough for all he's already done for me. Sorry. Now, Coach Gadd, I've known her for a short time too, but during that time, she has taught me so much, whether it be wrestling or shaping me into the lady I'm supposed to become. She has told me lessons she had to learn the hard way so that in hopes I can avoid going through them too. She is someone that can push me past my limit until the point I think I can't go anymore. And after I do finish what I thought I couldn't, she is there to say how proud she is of me again. I know that that having her as my coach is something I should cherish because I know she will do everything in her power to show me everything she knows to help me develop as a wrestler. I am so excited to accomplish the goals I have set for myself while being under their coaching because I know through my drive and their knowledge of wrestling and them wanting to see me succeed as much as I want to, that I will in fact accomplish my goals. We have received a very warm welcome from the men's wrestling team, which was not what I expected. I was so used to not being accepted by boy wrestlers by the problems I faced in high school, leading me to change high schools, whether it was being deliberately punched in the face or having no one wanting to wrestle the girl in the room. Instead, they are here to help with any problems we all might have or just someone to drill with for an extra workout. I'm so thankful already for all the laughs we have shared and bonds we have made. I am so glad to have gained them as brothers. Now, our girls team is something special, and I've been on multiple girls teams, and I've never seen something like the bond we share here already. Even though we're from different parts of the country, the first day we came together, we were just a match. It was perfect. We all get along and have the best times. We are probably the funniest girls team there is. Just saying. We motivate each other during hard practices and after hard matches. I know when I lost in the finals at Emmanuel 2 weeks ago that they patted me on the back. I was having a tough time. I was about in tears. They're like, Cooney, you're fine. You got it next match. You can get revenge. It was awesome. I love them for it. And for being a first-year team, I've already proved ourselves to the top teams out there and have put Tiffin on the map in people's mind of, dang, we can't underestimate this team. They're here to win. I can speak for all of us when I say that this sisterhood we have is special and that as a team we can accomplish anything. I love you girls with my whole heart and I'm so proud of us already and know that we are going to go so far and make Tiffin proud. I will forever consider Tiffin Wrestling as my family and can't wait to give back to the program in more ways than one. Lastly, thank you to Larry and Jeannie Adelsperger and the rest of the donors for making this opportunity possible for not only me, but many girls after me to wrestle at this top-notch facility. We're working our hardest to bring you guys home a team national title and many individual national titles. Thank you.
McKenna, we're looking forward well, first, we're grateful that you're here and part of our community, but we too are looking forward to your personal growth and your journey at Tiffin University. So I was so excited to get to you that I just skipped Coach. Well, I also didn't want the congressman to have the toughest act to follow, right? One of our students. So Joey, in just a moment, I'm going to have you come up. But boy, for those of you that don't know Joey Simcoe, you need to get to know Joey Simcoe. What I can say about him is he is just a quality individual. I've had the pleasure of working with him on this renovation for a number of months, being part of the process, being part of this solution. And I've learned that really he took over, it wasn't a new program, but it was really a program in its infancy. And as Lonnie said, moved out of facilities that weren't optimal, right? And still achieved great success in terms of his ability to recruit students and then work with them and build them. And as I mentioned earlier, to even have our very first national champion individual here at the university. In addition to that, what you may not know is that he has a biddy program. And for those that are unfamiliar, that's where he takes the little kids and teaches them. And that's awesome. And what you may not know is that he actually works with local law enforcement and brings them here to our facility to help teach them non-lethal ways for them to defend themselves. So when we think about TU wrestling, right? Oftentimes we hear about our success, buildings like this, being the first college or university in the state of Ohio to offer women's wrestling as an athletic offering. But it goes far beyond that, much deeper in this community. And so that's largely due to Joey and his leadership and just the quality of person that he is. And so Joey, please come up and bless us with a few words.
Thanks, Mitch. Alright, as most of you guys know, I'm not really a talker, so I'm going to try to get through this. First off, I want to thank everyone for being here today to help celebrate the dedication of Larry and Jeannie in the wrestling complex. What this building and what this facility means to both the men's and women's programs is immeasurable. We're extremely excited about the opportunities in which it provides us for our training. In 8 short years, starting year 8 now, you've heard from Lonnie and a couple other people. Westgate was not quite what you would call a mecca for wrestling, so to speak. Between the happy garden and the dirt that came through the door, it was a rough go for the first year. But with that being said, Westgate wasn't that bad either. As I'm sure Congressman Jordan will talk about, wrestling is kind of a blue collar, nitty gritty, roll your sleeves up sport. So Westgate wasn't bad; it just wasn't quite a home yet. And with that, as that not being a home, I kind of want to touch on the different hats that coaches wear. Some days, you will be a psychologist. Other days, we're a father. Other days, we're a brother. Some days, we're your best friend, and other days, you hate us. And we get that. But with that being said, one of the first things that I thought was the most important thing to do was to involve ourselves in the community. And some of the people that have touched on our community involvement with the youth. I truly believe that was the first place to start, because without youth wrestling, there will be no college wrestling. There is no pro for us. This is as good as it gets. I believe in building the mindset that if I can get a kid interested when they're 8 or 9 years old, I have a chance to keep that kid when they're in college. And the beautiful thing is I'm starting to see that happen now. Some of the wrestlers behind you came through this youth program and are now freshmen or sophomores here at the university. I want to thank TU for that, for providing us with the facility, the time to mentor these young men, young women, and help foster that love for wrestling and Tiffin University. One of the greatest parts of this youth club, like I said, was seeing these children become young men, young women, and now starting to come here. The local law enforcement probably was one of the coolest things we did. Officer Eric Aller is a TU grad, been a friend of mine for many years. We got together and we're talking about where we could train some defense tactics, non-lethal, subject control. So Eric and I actually approached Lonnie Allen about it. We started a instructor's course. We had a guy come down from Michigan, and it was an amazing event. We had officers from all over the state of Ohio. We had officer from Canada come down, officers from Michigan, Indiana, and these officers became certified to teach these tactics to their precincts and take that home. I thought that was a great thing to be a part of, especially with our law enforcement here at Tiffin University. The other part of that was really interesting to me was we actually got to work with the local PD, which was very cool to have them come in, and I actually got to be the subject that they tried to arrest. That was pretty fun. So 2 or 3 people would attack me, and I'd have to try to wrestle my way out of it. Very interesting. My favorite part was when the bigger officers would try to pick on me, and I'd be able to weasel through it. Anyway, through this community involvement and the buy-in from our student athletes, even though we didn't have this amazing facility behind us, we were able to accomplish some very, very great things. Mitch touched on some of it. One of the things that really stuck out in my mind when I was going through our history a little bit was our conference. So when we started out, we wrestled 5 duels in our first conference tournament. And a dual meet consists of 10 matches per duel. So there's 50 matches wrestled that day, and Tiffin University won 3 matches. Needless to say, we didn't win a duel. 5 short years later, we won the conference. It was the last year of that conference that Tiffin competed in it, and we won it at University of Findlay. That's where I came from, so that felt even better. We went from 0 national qualifiers to today we have 21. To become a national qualifier in the Division II level, there is no bid process. There is no guaranteed. You have to place top 4 at your regional tournament, so it all comes down to one day. To be able to say we've got 21 guys to that tournament is something to be proud of. We went from no All-Americans to 7 All-Americans and an individual national title. To speak on him real quick, his name's Garrett Gray. He is now my head assistant coach. Phenomenal young man. Came from Clay, Ohio. Recruited him out to Westgate, believe it or not. And when you meet Garrett, you'll understand this next comment. When I told him that calf was all you could eat, he said he was in. With all that we have accomplished in this short time, I can't wait to see with this facility what it's going to help us accomplish in the future, not only for the men's program, but for the women's program as well. I have a long list of thank yous, and I hope we can get through them all, and I don't miss anybody, and if I did, I apologize. First off, I want to say something to Lonnie Allen and President Schumacher and our board. Thank you for having the faith in me and our program and our student athletes to not only get behind this building in Larry and Jeannie's honor, but to also start the women's program. To me, it only grows wrestling even bigger, even stronger, and continues to grow our student populace. To Orion and the maintenance crew, Deb and the housekeepers, and I'm not sure if she's here, but especially Michelle, thank you for always being with us. She's like the team mom. Can't do it without her either. Klaus Construction, Lenny, Adam, Matt, Scott, you guys were all fantastic to work with. Thank you for involving me in the process and asking about everything, making this the best wrestling facility possible. All the donors that are here today and those that aren't, thank you so much for everything. Without you guys, none of this is possible. Congressman Jordan, thank you for being here. Your family, yourself personally, myself personally, with you guys, thank you. You've always been there for wrestling. Your family's been there for me as well. Thank you for that. Larry and Jeannie, for always being involved in the Tiffin community, for always looking out for the community, for being great role models for all of us to follow. And getting to know Larry has helped show me even more that we should never sell ourselves short, and that the best business is done from the heart. Mike and Dolores Herbert, I don't even know how to say thank you to you guys for believing in me in the first place. Going back to our first meeting, Mike, sitting in my office a couple Januaries ago, I thought you were a little bit crazy that we could pull it off. And then to our first meeting with Mike, Fred, and Mark, sitting at Bob Evans and getting to know those guys and hear those stories and hear stories about Larry, absolutely blew my mind. And for those guys to think that I was good enough or worthy to be associated with a man like Larry, thank you. Thank you for that. My family, my mom and dad, they made it up. My wife and kids are here. Thank you for understanding the long nights. Thank you for understanding the interrupting phone calls, whether it be date night, movie time, dinner, whatever it may be. Thank you for understanding wrestling to me is not a life, or excuse me, it's not a job, it's a lifestyle. Finally, I want to thank wrestling. Wrestling's taught me a lot. It's beat me up, it's left me broken, but it's always taught me to pick myself up. And no matter what, at the end of the day, I'll always be a wrestler, and I'm very thankful for it. Thank you, guys.
And now I think you know why I speak so highly of Joey Simcoe. So it's not often when you have a member of Congress a few weeks ahead of general election not giving a stump speech, but we're blessed to have Congressman Jim Jordan here because he has significant personal experience with wrestling, knowing how it helps strengthen individuals and teams and communities. And so, Congressman, thank you for being here.
Just like a member of Congress to show up for the celebration, even though I had nothing to do with making this all happen. But I did learn a long time ago that good things in life don't just happen. You want to accomplish anything of meaning, anything of significance, anything of real lasting value, it takes work, it takes effort, it takes commitment, and it takes a willingness to assume some risk when you first set the goal. So I just came here to say congratulations to everyone. Dr. Schumacher, for your leadership, the board, the Adelspergers, and all that you've meant to this community, to Lonnie and your whole athletic program here, and of course to the coaches, Brittany and Joey, all the work that you've done, and to the student athletes. In the end, Mitch is exactly right. It's about the impact you leave on young people, the student athletes you have a chance to interact with and coach and mentor along the way. And so, particularly the young ladies who are now this amazing new program that's starting here in our great state where wrestling has such a strong tradition, that is special as well. You'll look back, all you wrestlers here, you'll look back and you'll remember certain coaches and teachers you had along the way. I always tell folks, next to your parents, if you think about people who impacted your life in a positive fashion, it was probably a coach or teacher you had along the way. And I think about my college wrestling coach, Coach Hellickson, but I really think about my dad a lot because he was my first coach and had a huge impact. But I think about my high school wrestling coach, Coach McCunn, and the things he taught us. I tell people he was the toughest teacher in our school. He taught chemistry and physics, and I think he was the toughest wrestling coach in the whole state of Ohio. And this is not an exaggeration. Every single day he talked about discipline. Every day. I can remember him in class. He'd say, "Hey, Jordan, this isn't any class. This is chemistry class. More importantly, it's my chemistry class. You want to do well in my class? It's going to take discipline, self-discipline, reading the material the night before, coming to class prepared, doing the formal, doing the experiment. It's going to take discipline to do well in here." And in the wrestling room, oh my goodness, every day I can still hear it. Self-discipline is the most important character quality you need to accomplish anything of meaning, anything of value. I like what that guy shut up. He sounds like my dad, right? But he had a great definition, and it hangs in our wrestling room, our little high school down in St. Paris, Ohio, Graham High School. My brother was the head coach there for 18 years, just announced he's retiring. But they've been state champions for the last 18 years in a row. And in that wrestling room, the Ron McCunn Wrestling Room, named after Coach McCunn, who passed away a few years ago, there's all these state championship banners. But the biggest banner is on the main wall, bigger than all the others, and it says this: discipline, doing what you don't want to do when you don't want to do it, Ron McCunn. And that's what wrestling teaches you, and that's an important concept. It meant doing things the right way when you'd rather do them, the easy way. It meant doing things Coach's way when you'd rather do them the convenient way. But it's a principle that we learn when we're in sport, and particularly the sport of wrestling. And it's a special thing, and it's a special value. It's funny, my favorite statement, though, is actually not just what Coach said. Since we're in baseball, I was just thinking this is walked up here. 30 years ago this year, I love this baseball line by Earl Hershiser. You guys remember when the Dodgers won 30 years ago, 88? The Dodgers obviously playing again, got beat last night. But I read the book about Hershiser, and after they'd won the World Series, he didn't have the best fastball, wasn't the best, but he just knew how to win and was their leader, and they won the World Series. And read the book after that. That he had written, and early in the book he says this, and I think sport teaches this, and I think particularly the sport of wrestling teaches this. But he said start of his book, he said, great things can happen to ordinary people who are willing to work hard and never give up. Great things can happen to ordinary people who work hard and never give up. And my favorite word in the statement is the word ordinary. Stop and think about it. We're all just regular, ordinary people. Nobody's any better than anybody else. We're all in need of God's grace. But in this country, ordinary people don't have to do ordinary things. They can do extraordinary things if they're willing to work hard and never quit. And that's what I think athletics is about, teaching those lessons about discipline, about ordinary people accomplishing extraordinary things and reaching their goals. And I particularly believe, because it was a sport I was so involved in, the sport of wrestling is uniquely qualified to teach those core concepts. And so those are the things I think we celebrate today, as well as this amazing community that loves this university and understands the impact it has on young people's lives. So thank you for letting me be a small part of it, and it's been great to be with you here today. God bless you.
Thank you, Congressman, for your words, your presence, and most importantly, your friendship to Tiffin University. So, we have a few folks here that have been mentioned a few times. They're Mike Herbert, Fred Zoller, and Mark Simoti. Now, there have been a number of folks that have been involved in this project to make it possible, but it was these three individuals that really came forward in the very beginning to make it a reality. And so not only did they give generously of their treasure, but they also gave generously of their time and their talent. They helped organize. We met often. We talked about little details, and they really were invested in this project. And on behalf of the three of them, Mike's going to get up and say a few words. Everyone, Mike Herbert.
Good afternoon. I feel a little strange standing here because a lot of my story's been said 8 or 9 times, but I guess that's what today's about. You know, it is a celebration. It is great to see the community of Tiffin, Ohio, Tiffin University. They are molded together, and today is evidence of that. And the crowd that's here is a great demonstration of that commitment to one another. I'm going to take a moment also to recognize Mark and Fred. You know, we put our heads together and talked about Larry for quite a while. And you look around the city of Tiffin, and lots of great things happening at other locations as to what could we do, because we did want to recognize our friend. And it came back to Tiffin University. And the effort that the two of those guys put into helping raise the funds to get this project off the ground is certainly deserving of more than just me standing here. So I want everybody to know that this isn't about me. It's about a lot of people, but certainly those two guys deserve the recognition for the effort to raise funds. And sometimes it's not so easy, and I'm sure Lil knows, and Mitch knows, to go out and ask people for money isn't the easiest thing in the world, and you have to have reason and commitment. But selling Larry Adelsperger is a pretty easy job. TU is a great asset to our community, not only the financial impact that it has, but bringing all the young minds and young energy that comes to this university, and the opportunity for some of those people to stay as a part of our community. And it's been said several times as to how athletics and certainly the academic education from Tiffin University helps mold those people into the assets that they will be, whether it's in our community or some other. So we certainly respect that opportunity that this facility will also bring individuals to Tiffin University to be assets while they're here, but more importantly to assets to be just like most of you who are here today in being successes in their future and their journey in life. The celebration to me is about people. It's certainly a building that has been erected that will help us do things, but celebrations are about us, about one another. And I'm here today to celebrate my partner. Great human being. You've had all the other words of commitment and dedication. his track of life, the way he values other people, his love for things that he does, and then his involvement level is unending. You know, I think of, if they were to rewrite Webster's dictionary, you could just put the word partner there and then write Larry Adelsperger, and enough would be said. And he's been that to me, a dear favor, a great asset to my journey in life, and I'm sure to Tiffin University, and that's been said multiple times this afternoon. He is certainly the epitome of a partner. I've been honored and blessed to work with him. At PT Services, there are times when we kind of look at each other and smile, and we have a saying, well, that's Larry Adelsperger's farmer math. And, you know, that goes not just in adding and subtracting, but it's his way about going about things. It's his process and the way he looks at things. It's very earthly. It's reasonable. It makes sense. Sometimes you have trouble following it, but it's right there in front of you. And you can have all the other processes and formulas you want, but just follow Larry and you'll get to the right train spot. That's, you know, a lot of people have asked, well, what's the tie between Larry Adelsperger and a building for wrestling at Tiffin University? He's been on the board 13 years, so that was certainly a tie. And as it's been said earlier, it was also because of the relationship that I was able to develop through the Biddy Wrestling program and my family who participated in it, and I got to know Joe Simcoe. The two men are the same. A little different. You know, Larry is, you know, all the other statements about dedication and integrity and committed to things and so forth. You know, he's the gentleman farmer, a statesman, does everything in the right way. Joe Simcoe has all those dedications and commitments and looking to better people and caring about people in his process. A little different. He's certainly younger. He's brash. Shoots from the hip sometimes. He came to me, I'm going to say 3 or 4 years ago. We were at some event and there was kind of a break in the action. And Joe Simcoe comes to me with, hey bro, got something I want to run by you. And I go, okay, what do you got? And he goes, what would you think of starting a women's wrestling program at Tiffin University? And I rolled my eyes and went, man, are you from Mars or where? And here we are today. You know, great complex, great men's wrestling program, and the start of a women's wrestling program. It's already been stated, first one in Ohio, I believe. There aren't very many women's wrestling programs in the state, but that's Joe Simcoe. It's his concern and caring about what he's involved in. And, you know, reaching out to women to be able to fulfill their passion. You know, men's wrestling, you gotta be passionate to be a wrestler. So if you're a women's wrestler, just think of the passion that you have to participate at that sport, at that level, and to provide those young women the opportunity to do that along with their opportunity to go to college is a strengthening event in their journey to allow them to be great citizens when they leave this institution. So it's a great feat, and you know, I rolled my eyes and thought, wow, what's this about? But here we are today, and it's all good stuff. It's the young, brash Larry Adelsperger, and I'm proud that Joe's also a partner of our community. In addition to Joe and Larry, the two ladies that are with them, Jeannie Adelsperger and Sally Simcoe, help support the attitude of who these two men are. They bring certainly harmony, support, they slow things down, have a level of control, and most importantly, bring the aspect of family to the thought process of these two men. So again, it's a celebration about people, and a celebration about two men and their journey. It's a great day for us here at Tiffin University and for all of us in the community. A couple of things that most of you are getting a pass out that we've put together, and you'll see this on a plaque in the building, and it's the Adelsperger Simcoe Life Values and Principles. And you can take it home and read it on your own or whatever, but a couple of things I want to draw your attention to because it speaks kind of the way these two gentlemen think, and that's why why wrestling at Tiffin University. It's Joe and his attitudes and values, and Larry and his values and principles, and they match up. But if you look at number 2, says a whole lot. Life is not about winning or losing. It's about improvement and learning. All of us every day go through that. And if we can hang on to the aspect that we don't ever win or lose, we're merely taking another step forward in our journey. Everything we do follows a pattern of how we can communicate and work with one another. And both of these people espouse that. I like number 3 because that's kind of Larry. We come into a lot of conflict in our business, and I think every business does. There's a lot of need for negotiation, whether it's with your employees or with staff. And negotiation and conflict doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. It's just that you have differences of opinion. And so there's times when Larry and I will be in a meeting and we'll look at each other and we'll be, all but slamming our fist on the table. But Larry always leaves the meeting with every challenge presents the opportunity. So let's have fun while we get this done. And that's really kind of the attitude, and that's Joe. Joe looks at things and it's the hey bro attitude of life. And lastly, I draw your attention to number 7. That's really about what the whole world is about to these two men. We can all make a lot of money. We can all have the items around us in the world, but it's all about people. And when your reward really gets to be the happiness that you share with other people around you from your journey and where you're at. So glad you're all here. Appreciate your contact in the community. We're all friends. And Larry, you're my partner.
Thank you, Mike. So, Jeannie and Larry, when you prepare for events like this, at least I do, I write down some comments and some bullet points about what I might want to say, and then you see how things flow. And I have your names down here, and I have one word behind it. And after listening to everyone talk about today and the two of you, that one word is still consistent, and that's goodness. Goodness to your family, goodness to this university, goodness to this community, goodness to people who you may never ever meet. I know goodness to folks who you'll never meet because you're endowing an endowed fund here that will live forever with your names on it, and so it'll benefit this campus community literally till the end of time. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I know Jeannie's going to probably stay where she is. And Larry's going to get up and speak on their behalf. But please help me welcome Jeannie and Larry representing.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Mitch, I got this to say. You put me last. Everything I wanted to say has been said. My name's already up there. Jeannie, it is, isn't it? And I'm thirsty. I don't need to wait for a train. Thank you very much, all of you. It is a pleasure to be here. More of a pleasure to see all of you here supporting this Wrestling Complex. It is truly an honor to have our name on this facility. I had plenty to say, but I am going to cut it short because I am thirsty. And I'm going to say about 3 things. Thank all of you, the speakers. Wonderful, wonderful comments. Not the ones about me, but the ones about TU, this complex, this community. Outstanding. This is special. I'm going to try to get through 3 of my comments. You've heard them all before, but I took the time to have the secretary type them, retype them, and then retype them again. And my wife's tired of hearing them. David, I heard you laugh. Today's about Tiffin University doing what it does best, supporting their students. This complex shows students and potential students that this institution is serious about supporting their activities. A best practice and a benefit for student recruitment and retention. I can assure you, students on this campus feel and see the Tiffin University support. It's about a community. Your friends, my friends. Your families, my families. A community who believed in a project and thus provided the financial funds. And it's about 3 individuals who had an idea, set a plan, accepted the challenge, and secured the funding. It was through their leadership that made this complex possible. We owe Mike, Fred, and Mark a well-deserved thank you. Thank you, my friends, the 3 of you. To the women and men's wrestling teams, head coaches Brittany and Joy, congratulations on your complex. Enjoy everything it will provide and bring the very best to your team's future. And that's all those wrestlers back there. Thank you for allowing Judy and I to be a part of this special day. Thank all of you for supporting this complex. Let's cut that ribbon. Thank you.
All right, and as we prepare to cut that ribbon, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank a few folks for making this particular ceremony possible. So, to our wonderful staff and event services, Sandy and Sarah, thank you. To the facilities team that helped make this building spick and span, thank you. To our wrestling staff for all that you've done and continue to do, thank you. And to our friends at the Pioneer Mill, who are always very good to Tiffin University, and our students, they're inside, thank you. So if I could have Jeannie and Larry come up, along with Mike, Fred, and Mark, Lil, and our trustees who are present. We'll cut the ribbon, and then we'll go in and have that drink, Larry. What do you think? Okay.
Buddy. No, keep your head on. It's important.
Tell us how we're doing.
I'm making sure I can see everyone's faces. Mike, can you pull up a little bit? Yep, right there.
You see Dan?
Yep. All right.
Everybody has a window.
Everybody has a window.
The upper.
All right, we need a window. All right, Nick's going to count to 3.
1, 2, 3.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, remember it's a great day to be a dragon. Thank you for being here and enjoy the reception.